Natalie's Witchy Wisdom. Thank you for tuning in for video 5 of the Divination series. This will be on mirror scrying. Now what I'm going to do in this video is going to be a little bit different than what I've done in the prior videos where I haven't really demonstrated it. What I'm going to do for you this time is I'm going to show you how to create a magic mirror for your use. And I'm not going to show you the consecration process because it is time consuming and requires several materials, some of which I think I'm actually getting kind of low on, so I need to reorder. But I will explain the consecration part of the video to you and explain what you should do once that process has been completed. But I'm going to show you how easy it is to create a magic mirror for scrying. So this is going to be shot using two different cameras. Right now I'm recording on my computer, but when I do the portion where I demonstrate how to create the magic mirror, I'm going to be using a camera. So I do apologize in advance if the video quality is different and if the sound quality is different. I will warn you that I have noticed that when I use the camera for recording, the sound quality is vastly different than it is on the computer. It tends to be louder and more clear, and I do apologize for that if there's a sudden shift, so I want to warn you up front on that. But right now I'm going to head out to demonstrate how to create a magic mirror, so stay tuned. Okay everyone, I'm back. Thank you again. I want to demonstrate how to create a scrying mirror. Now this is very simple and it's not very expensive. It does not have to be expensive at all. The first thing that you're going to need is an ordinary picture frame that has the glass and that you can remove the glass from the back of the frame. I know on some of the frames, especially if they're not very expensive, you cannot remove the glass. You do need one in which you can remove the glass. I picked this 8x10 frame up for $3 at Walmart. This mirror that I am creating today, I will likely not use myself for divination purposes. I am going to be gifting this in the Witches of the Moon giveaway. So you do want to make sure that the glass is relatively scratch-free. This is genuine glass, so you want to be very careful when you're doing this. And I do apologize for all the noise in the background. Apparently there's some sort of an emergency going on. Now the other thing that you will need is just regular black glossy spray paint. And obviously I have something that I'm going to be spray painting on so that I don't get this all over my table. But basically all you're going to do is spray paint the back surface of the glass with the spray paint. So it's a little windy out here. I'm a little concerned about how this is going to turn out, so we'll see. Now it is very important that you cover all surfaces of the glass. It must be completely black. So you want to get a good layer on there because you want it to be nice and dark. And essentially you're just going to spray paint down the length of glass and make sure that the entire glass is covered with the black glossy paint. Just been hitting my dog because he moved. Okay, you want to try to make it as even as possible on the surface. But then essentially you're just going to allow that to dry, and once that dries, you can then pick it up and place it back into the picture frame. So you would put the glass shiny side, the unpainted side down, put the cover back on, and then the entire thing would be black. So I do recommend that you take your time in picking a frame, find something that you like, that you connect with. If you wish to do so, you can decorate the outside of the frame. You could paint magical symbols on there. You could use gold paint, silver paint, blue paint, whatever color connects with you. And I would be particular in the symbols that I look for. I would find symbols or even create my own sigils that represent communication and connection with the spirit world and receiving of messages. So you can make up some of your own sigils. but I need to let this dry before I can pick it up and demonstrate the rest of this. Essentially, again, I'm going to let this dry completely, then I will pick it up, I will place it glass side, unpainted glass side down, and then put the back on. When you have it together, one thing I wanted to mention is I do like to utilize a frame that has a stand so that it can stand on its own, because you will be placing a candle in front of it, and I like to have something that I don't have to set up against something else. So you could either choose one that has a hook or apply a hook to the back that you could hang it on the wall, you know, the mirror on the wall, I know that's cliche, or you could choose one like I have here that has the stand so that it could stand independently on an altar table or some other place, and you don't have to worry about leaning it up against anything, so that you can then place the candle in front. So that's how easy it is, kiddos. You just have to have a can of black spray paint and a frame. The frame size really is not important. I personally like an 8x10 because I think it gives a nice, good reflective surface for scrying. To me, something that's smaller, like a 5x7 or a 4x6, is to me just too small, because I'm not comfortable looking into a space that's that small. I like to have something that's got a good size that I can set up at my eye level. I like to have it eye level when I work with it. So I'm going to let this dry, and then we will continue from there. Change of background. I have tried 4 or 5 times to film the ending of this video, and every time I have tried, my husband has managed to barge in and interrupt me, and so I'm going to try to get this done before he comes in here wondering what's taking me so long in the bathroom. So once you have painted your mirror, this is what it should look like. Ooh, check that out. It's me to infinity. Scary thought. But it's going to be completely black. Now, really, you should probably clean off the fingerprints too. But as you can see, it makes a really nice, dark, reflective surface. Now, before you put the glass back into the frame, you want to take the glass, once it's completely dry, and make a shallow bath in something that's going to be large enough to hold whatever size glass you're using, with herbs that are related to divination. Some that were recommended by Raven Grimassi were rosemary, fennel, rue, vervain, ivy, walnut bark or walnut leaves, and he says if you want to be really traditional, gather up some sea foam and put it all in the bath, and you want equal parts of those various herbs. If you do not have those herbs in your cabinet, do not panic. Do a little bit of research on other herbs that relate to psychic vision, divination, oracle reading, that sort of thing. Really, any herb that is related to that is good. I personally love rosemary because you can buy it at the grocery store. It's very easy to get. If you have any of the Mexican shops near you, a lot of those have some of the things like rue and fennel and vervain. So ivy can be any ivy as far as I know. So you go out, you gather some, and you can use that. Now, while the mirror itself is bathing in this solution of water, now, by the way, one thing I want to mention is I don't have access to sea foam because I live landlocked, much to my own chagrin, but I like to add a little bit of sea salt to it. And I'll kind of mix this mixture with the water. It's very shallow, and then you place the mirror into that, and as it's bathing in this solution, you will give it a few minutes to sit, and then you're going to place your hands over the glass like this, and you're going to say, I awaken the sleeping spirits of old, whose eyes reveal all that in darkness is told. Give to me visions within this dark wall, and make this a portal of magical spell. Sorry, within this dark well, and make this a portal of magic spell. Sorry about that. So again, it's I awaken the sleeping spirits of old, whose eyes reveal all that in darkness untold. Give to me visions within this dark well, and make this a portal of magic spell. Now, those words do come from Raven Grimassi's book, The Witch's Craft. Sorry. Woo, I'm having a real kind of day, guys. So then he recommends magnetizing your mirror. Now, I have not done this to the mirror I had previously. That was just an itty bitty little thing I was kind of experimenting with. And this might be something that is really important, so I wanted to bring it up in the video. Again, you can find this in The Witch's Craft by Raven Grimassi, and he says that you want to magnetize your mirror. Now, I believe in the book he's using a concave or convex piece of glass, and he's talking about the two sides, but in this case, because it's completely flat, I just say the front surface and the painted surface. So what you're going to do is you're going to put the glass against something that sits it up, or I would recommend putting it back in the frame at that point, because to me it doesn't matter if there's something over the back of it or not, because you're sending through your energy and that's going to get through whatever is there. But he says that you want to magnetize it by holding one hand on one side of the mirror and the other hand on the other side, and then you're going to clockwise or gestal move your hand several times over the mirror, palm of the hand facing, and then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Make sure that you're going gestal or clockwise. Then you're going to repeat that. You do that for a couple of minutes to kind of send your energy and aura into the mirror. Now the next step I have done, this is very important. I'm going to give you the words that he gives you. The ones I have used are a little bit different, but I kind of made up my own thing because I was trying to make it my own. But you want to take the mirror, at least the glass portion of it, I would take it in the whole frame just to be on the safe side, out to the full moon. This does need to be done on the night of the full moon. And you're going to hold it flat so that you can see a reflection of the moon in the glass. And it's going to have to be almost at eye level, because what's going to happen is you're going to be looking up the glass, at the moon, sorry, and you kind of want to unfocus your eyes a little bit, kind of cross them a little, so that you see 3 beams of light coming from the moon. And when those beams of light, for me it was the middle one, hits that mirror, hits your reflective surface on the mirror, you're going to say, 3 other lights here now that are seen, but not to all, the one in between. For now the enchantress has long come at last to charge and empower this dark magic glass. Then you kind of close your eyes and look away, and when you open your eyes, you should be looking at the reflection of the moon in the mirror. So you're going to be looking up, and then you're going to close your eyes and you're going to look down before you open them. And then this is also something else I've not done before with mine, but he does recommend that you take a piece of snake skin and tape it to the back of the glass, because snakes represent the kind of a portal or a pathway to the other world, to the spirit world. So what I would probably do with it myself is I would take the back off and I would put the snake skin inside, where that it's actually touching the glass on the dark side, on the painted side, so that it carries with it that through the thing. But I suppose it'd be okay to just tape it to the back of that. But I personally would take off the back and put the snake skin within the glass itself, between the glass and the paper backing that holds the mirror up. And once you do that, your mirror is now ready to use. So it is very important that once you complete that and you've had the light of the full moon and you've enchanted it with the light of the full moon using the words that were given, you never let sunlight touch your mirror. Your mirror needs to be kept in a dark place with or covered by a dark cloth, so that it does not get that sunlight reflected on it, because that will negate the power of the moon that has been given to it, and is going to make it not as effective as a scrying tool. Now, when you are using the mirror, what I would recommend, and I'm going to turn this just a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. You would set the mirror up like so, and then you would put a candle right here in front of it. Sometimes if you want to use it for spell casting rather than just plain scrying, you can put a candle on either side and then maybe have a sigil where the sigil reflects in the mirror. You'd set it like here, flat in front, or kind of sitting up so that you can see the reflection of the sigil that you created in the mirror. And you want to focus on the reflection of the sigil itself and really focus your intent onto that and sending that out. I find that that's particularly good if I'm using something or I'm wanting to communicate with someone. If I'm wanting to communicate a thought to someone directly, then what I will do is put a picture of the person that reflects into the mirror. I'll look into the mirror with the 2 candles on either side, and I will And I use white candles for that, just so that you know. Color correspondences to me are very important, but to me white is something that represents a harmless communication, because I don't want to use a color that might in some way reflect out a negative energy. So I will put a candle on either side, and I will put a picture of the person where it reflects into the darkness of the mirror, and I will focus on the reflection in the mirror, and I will send whatever thought it is I'm trying to send to that person via the mirror, and I have found that to be very effective. It's funny because they don't even have to be a witch to pick up on that. They will call you, they will contact you in some way, email you. It's kind of crazy. Oh, and yes, I do want to give a shout out to my daughter Shayla, who decided when I came home from work this morning to had a little break in between clients. She decided to do my hair so we could be twimples, and she gave me a bow out of my own hair. So that's for Shayla. So anyhow, that completes what is necessary for a creating a magic mirror. Again, when you are using it for scrying purposes, you're going to put a candle usually to the middle or to the side. Sometimes I find it useful to have some sort of incense on the other side. Like if I'm going to use an incense, I may put the incense on one side of the mirror and the candle on the other, so that there's just a little bit of light that reflects in, and you focus on that flame. I've found that if you focus on the reflection of the flame within the mirror, or you just kind of let your mind kind of, you focus and your eyes sort of go unfocused, and then you will begin to see what the mirror has to show you. As with other methods of scrying, I find that it's sometimes useful if I'm looking for a particular answer or guidance on a particular issue or something like that. I rarely do any kind of scrying where I just go to it and say, tell me what you want to tell me. Sometimes I will. You know, if I'm getting, like for example, I have been having a lot of trouble sleeping lately, and so I did use a water scry method the other day because I didn't have access to a candle at the moment, and I've been trying to figure out who or what's been interrupting my sleep. I've been having a feeling that something's going on. Either someone's trying to get in touch with me, or someone has done something, they're intending some harm to me. So I'm trying to figure out why, because I keep waking up between 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's been happening consistently for about a month and a half now. And I usually am a very heavy sleeper. I find that a scrying mirror is very helpful for that. If you, especially the mirror particularly, I find is the best method for that. If you feel someone is doing something negative to you or sending some sort of bad juju your way, using a scrying mirror to figure out who is causing you the harm really helps. And it helps if when you sit in front of the mirror, you are in a quiet, dark place. It does need to be in a dark place for this to be really effective, so the best time to use it is at night or in a room that's very dark. But you want some place where your candle will be stable, because you don't want your candle tipping over and catching anything on fire. But to sit there and do some sort of an incantation, for me, sometimes I'll say, mirror, mirror, what should I see? Who wishes harm to come to me? And that has been helpful to me in kind of sorting out some people that maybe are not feeling so happy with me at the moment for whatever reason. So I've been able to put up some protections, and hopefully that will get me a better night's sleep. So anyway, I hope that this video has been very informative to you guys. Again, I apologize for the change of clothing, the change of scenery 2 or 3 times, but it was necessary in order to get this filmed properly. I hope that you all gain a lot from this, and will go out and experiment with making your own mirror. Make sure it is something that you really connect with, though, because I have found that that does make the best. Like I said, this will probably end up being gifted into the Witches of the Moon giveaway, because I'm going to clean it up and include the herbs and the snake skin and everything. It's just not something that I really connect with. The mirror, I do like the size. I think that's perfect size for me personally, but I'm going to look for something that's a little, I like kind of fancier things, but it would definitely be effective. I think it's just, I personally want something that I connect with, because I think that it helps you to deal better with that, to work with it better if you feel connected to it when you're looking at it. So again, I appreciate you all for watching. I appreciate your patience. Thank you so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Blessed be.